This is the content system that made me over $1 million with a few thousand subscribers. If you're a coach or a creator, you've been struggling to get leads and convert clients from your YouTube videos, you're going to have the step-by-step blueprint to copy the system into your brand by the end of this video. And I know this because I was in your exact same shoes. Roughly 2 years ago, I vividly remember uploading a new video. My business partner and I had already fired 5 different content teams before this, but this time we had made an even bigger investment to guarantee that our content was going to blow up. That evening, the new video with a MrBeast thumbnail, winning title format, and retention editing to maximize dopamine with cuts every 3 seconds was the worst performing upload in my channel's history. And keep in mind, our business was fully organic, meaning that if our content didn't get views, our business made no money at all. And we had sunk $20,000 into the project at this point. We were starting to get desperate and had to make a decision: take the last of our cash and run paid ads, which we had already failed twice, or we could pray that somehow these high quality videos were going to blow up overnight. And our pride as being these serious entrepreneurs who did business stuff was stopping us from mastering the game of YouTube and branding. So what we actually did was keep posting for the next month or so, and our situation only got worse. I was on a call with Dylan while he was supposed to be enjoying his Friday night in Las Vegas. He was pacing around his hotel room with his hands on his head like this, and it was because we were left with no other option but to kill our egos and made the commitment to, with absolutely no outside investment, learn every single aspect of the YouTube game until we had no choice but to succeed. And 90 days later, we had gone from struggling to even make $10,000 a month to hitting our first $50,000 a month. These YouTube strategists will optimize your channel to get views, which means you're going to build the wrong kind of reputation and attract a bunch of time-wasting, unqualified leads. The worst part about all this production BS is it ends up taking a stupid amount of time to execute as well. And the strategy that we used was just focused on purely conversions. Instead of trying to convince our customers that our business model was the best or trying to make top-of-funnel content, all we did was target the people who already knew that, then positioned ourselves as an authority by answering their questions and then leveraging tried and true marketing principles to turn every single video we uploaded into a full-blown sales letter. There were no crazy titles, we used basic terms to optimize for search traffic, and we made our thumbnails using Canva, focusing on showing the results and building a reputation of value in the space. This is called a micro channel, and my company, Seven Figure Creator over here, might be the #1 authority in the entire world for creating YouTube content that doesn't get views, but still makes you a ton of money. And the first phase to doing this is called relative virality and conversion data. So the biggest mistake that we can make with content in general is setting the wrong goals, and even worse, measuring them with the wrong data. And if views are impacting you mentally, you are already losing in this battle. The only lead that should be a source of truth is the views to page view or views to lead ratio, which means that per 100 people, 1 to 2 of them should actually be becoming leads in your funnel. And we also need to determine what is viral in your niche. Because we want conversions, everything is going to be relative. 200 views per video in your niche could mean that you're already the top dog and a celebrity. We started as SMMA for teenagers, so we were extremely niche down. And the way that you can check for this is by going to Google Trends just like this. And once you're in Google Trends, you want to compare different terms. So as you can see here, I'm comparing the term marketing agency to the term fitness, and it barely even shows marketing agency on this graph because relative to the amount of traffic that a term like fitness gets, it has absolutely no impact. So what that means is that if you're someone in the marketing agency niche and you might compare yourself against a fitness channel or any niche that has a similar kind of traffic, you are optimizing for the wrong thing and as a result are losing a lot of money in your business. And the way I explain this is called the virality bridge. In our given niche, we had SMMA, which was crowned by Iman, who was going ahead and convincing anybody, whether they be a young guy, to actually go ahead and move forward on this business model. And if you're a smaller creator and don't have a massive brand already, if you're doing this, it's not going to work for you. What we instead did is we waited for people to cross the bridge of being like, okay, this SMMA thing works, this is what I want to do, all the way to us. And what we did was we made SMMA videos for teenagers, meaning that the people that actually decided to watch them from us had already been convinced on the model. And as a result, we had search intent and they already had pain points that we just had to address. So now we're on to phase 2, which is the team and the process. So the most important thing is that you've got yourself and you have AI. And with those 2 things alone, you can completely run this content system within 10 hours a week, which I'll show you in a second. But when it comes to actually making a video, we have the ideation, packaging, recording, and uploading. And as I've written here, 80% of the work you're going to do is in the ideation and the packaging phase before you even touch the asset you're going to be making for the video or record any kind of content. And the way we house this entire thing is completely in Notion, where we have two different boards. We have a production board, which is just a spreadsheet timetable of a video title, a pop-up with all the information and the date that it's going to be uploaded and the date that it's going to be rehashed. And we have the education board, where we do reviews on videos, and then we also go ahead and just pull in other kind of YouTube information from the competitors that we actually have. And really, that is everything that you need when it comes to the overall structure. It shouldn't be complicated. Whatever is actually a workflow that you would realistically do. So if you don't use Notion, don't use Notion. Going into the output and the time requirements, you want to do 3x weekly uploads. This is very important. The reason why is because when you're a smaller creator and because of that relative virality, you're going to want to put out more videos. When someone who is optimizing for a high click-through rate and high watch time and all these things puts out one video per week, it's okay because they're going to get a 10% click-through rate and a watch time that's pretty high. So YouTube's going to keep funneling their video again and again and again. And it has the potential to get more views in one video than maybe 3 or 4 videos would have had. However, because we're making this lower and a more niche down kind of topic video, we want to upload as frequently as possible because the videos aren't going to get as many views, but we want to address all the broad concerns and the questions of the niche and almost build up our digital real estate portfolio by optimizing purely for search traffic. In addition to that, we're going to do a 3x weekly rehash. So if you were to go on to any channel or any YouTube video that you have right now and check the impressions that has been given, even 6 months after posting, every single YouTube video on the platform still gets impressions, which means people are seeing it. And what happens is if you have a winning packaging, even if a video is 6 months old and YouTube recognizes that because the few impressions that you get are clicking through, you can have the video completely revived. So what that means is that your entire YouTube portfolio is still an alive, breathing asset that if you can learn how to rehash in a simple way is going to be able to bring you consistent views from search traffic. And as I mentioned, it took us 10 hours a week per channel to implement it first. And however, as your skill improved, it can get down to as little as 5 to 8 hours. I believe the clients that I personally work with spend about 2 to 4 hours per week on their content in general. So it can be executed pretty easily. Now, moving into what you've been waiting for, which is the flow and the software. The first thing that you need to understand is that YouTube is a volume game. And because of that, when we're coming up with ideas, titles, thumbnails, at first for the ideas, we're going to have a 1 to 25 ratio, meaning that we have to come up with 25 winning ideas. And of those, we're only going to pick one, which is the ultimate winner that we're actually going to make a video on. And we have 3 ways of actually stemming up from these ideas. The first thing is just going to be general YouTube videos from your brain and your experiences. So if you're an authority, you are likely speaking to a version younger of yourself that had these problems. And as a result, if you think to yourself, what are the problems that I had along my journey? You can come up with a whole bunch of ideas just from your brain. The next thing is you can scan existing channels for winners. So if you see a competitor or you see a video that you think you could recreate in your niche that would do really well, or just from another niche that you think you could recreate into your niche, that is going to be another example of just how you can put down ideas. That just comes from being on YouTube if you watch it as a consumer. And then the final way, which is the predictable way, is using vidIQ, which I'm going to demonstrate here for you. As I get started here, I would like to let you know that I'm not partnered and you won't find any affiliate links anywhere. I use these softwares because they're legitimately good. And on vidIQ, here's an example of me doing this. So you have the keyword section. And for example, I'm going to type in the keyword marketing agency like we had before. So taking a look at this keyword, we can see that it has a relatively high search volume and a relatively low competition. If you're going to use the software, understand that these metrics are not just facts and data. If everybody looks at these and sees that a keyword is low or competition is low, everybody's going to make videos about the things with the highest score. And then as a result, everybody is going to make the competition really high and it's not going to work. So you have to do external research as well. However, once I'm in and I find a keyword that I think is good, I'm going to go to mainly the matching terms section here. I'm going to review things that I see, and I'm also going to go to the question section because I want to repeat this and get this very clear. Every single good video idea is a question. The video title is designed to be an answer to that question in a way that makes the viewer intrigued. And really, when you're watching this video right now, the question that I came up with for this video was, what is a good content system? Or how can I post on a micro channel without getting views? And then as a result, my title was positioned as an answer to that because I realized that that's something that a lot of people care about and have pain wanting to know. So this question section is extremely important for finding this. And what I will do is I will scan just like this until I find keywords that I think would be really, really good. And it might take you a while. You might have to go through a lot of keywords. You might have to try other things, but I can find a keyword like this, which I think might be pretty good. How to start a 7-figure marketing agency. But let's say you might not have the qualifications to talk about how to start a 7-figure marketing agency. You might not be the utmost expert. Let's go to a term like email marketing agency and do it again live. So going immediately over to the questions phase, one of the things that I see here is how to start an email marketing that works, how to start an email marketing and 10K a month marketing agency in 30 days here. I like this keyword a lot. How to build a 10K a month email marketing agency in 30 days. If I'm going to take this, I'm going to copy paste it into YouTube, and we're going to see what kind of competition we have. So here are the results that we got. And to show you what I'm actually going to do with those results, I'm going to do what I call SEO graph scanning. And the questions that I asked myself and also AI, just send screenshots of the videos in, just like this. I'm going to ask, do the top videos on the search term include the keyword directly? How recently were the top videos posted? And can I just make better packaging than the top videos? So taking a look here, the first thing that I notice is that there's a video by Sabri Subi that has a really good thumbnail. This video got a lot of views, got 200,000 views. The issue is that it doesn't include this keyword at all, which means that it is not really relevant, and someone searching this exact keyword is something I can rank for. The second thing is that if I look at this top one by Boyuan Zhao, or even this one by Otto Frederick, this one doesn't have a thumbnail, so I know this is something I can beat. And this top one was posted 4 years ago. So immediately I recognize that this is a really good keyword to make a video about. It matches all the criteria. This video doesn't include the keyword. This video is from a long time ago, and this video doesn't have a thumbnail. So we've hit all the criteria. The first video was from 4 years ago, which immediately disqualifies it. YouTube's going to push new videos as a priority. The second video doesn't even include the keyword, and it's a far more broad video. And the third one doesn't have a thumbnail, which means that we're going to be able to actually best it in a click-through rate if we just put the effort in to finding something that's going to work. So now we just found a winning keyword and a winning idea that we could use. And if you repeat this 25 times, that idea is going to be so good that it almost guarantees video performance. And the next thing that I do is I prompt AI to determine if it's good for my channel. So for my channel, and then also all the clients' channels that I work on, what we actually do is we take every single video that's been uploaded onto that channel, we're going to summarize it, we're going to take screenshots of the graphs of the retention, then also the click-through rate, the thumbnail, the packaging ideas, everything regarding it, and feed it all to a particular AI bot. And what that's going to do is it's going to give your ChatGPT 4.0, the $20 a month one, a extremely good context as to what you actually do, and because of that, it's going to be able to actually advise you on how to run your channel. So questions that I ask it are, is this keyword already a winning concept or a close variation of one on my channel? Have I already made this video before? And that's a good thing because I can repeat it and it's also going to get results. Next question would be, can I make this completely unique to my experience that a competitor couldn't copy? Is this a timeless asset? Does this enforce my authority frame and build my reputation? Does a viewer feel FOMO if they skip over a video on this topic? And when your AI has context on this, which you can do just by spending the time just sending everything, it's not a complex thing, it just takes a lot of time. You can go ahead and now have an assistant that's smarter than almost every YouTube strategist you could ever pay. And that goes to the second phase, which is actually going to be the titles. As I mentioned, the goal of our title is to answer the question that we have in our idea. And to do this, we're going to need a 1:50 ratio. So when I'm making a video, I end up going through hundreds of titles to pick the one that I actually decide on. And the ways that I do this are, first and foremost, I'm going to input all the competitor titles that I actually see. So I just go on like the top ranking, copy paste those all into ChatGPT. And I'm going to ask it to send me hundreds of different variations to actually go through. And I also use another software called Creator Hooks Pro, which is just kind of like a ChatGPT reskin specifically for YouTube to do the exact same thing. And from that point on, what I'll do is I'll take my favorite 50, do some personal copywriting on them, and then what I'll go through and do is take a 5 to 10 minute break, relax, get away from the computer, take my mind off of it, come back and remove 45 of them. I'm not sitting here and picking my 5 favorite. I'm going down the list sequentially of the 50 thumbnails of the hundreds that I've now drafted, and I'm removing, okay, bad, until there are only 5 left. And once you've done that, you have now got 5 winning possible titles that you can use. And just as some information as to the kind of titles that you actually have existing on YouTube in general, first off is the contrarian and the controversial statement. So you've been lied to about paid ads. Stop spending money on ads. This works better. You have, I mean, honestly, this isn't really too effective for just optimizing for search traffic and doing well. Second thing is a big promise ultimate guide. This is like your holy grail if you are an authority content creator looking for conversions. Some examples of this are big goal, short time frame, step by step, how to achieve common desirable outcome without pain. Next thing is shocking personal story / case study. So case studies are the highest converting videos that you can ever possibly post on your YouTube. They might not get as many views, but we've installed softwares like Hyros into our channels, and we've realized that honestly, just from data, the case study videos that we've posted usually convert about 3 times better than usual ones. Then we have fear and scarcity driven titles. The only time that I recommend you make a title like this is when you have a winning idea. Let's say you're talking about school, for example, and it's doing really well. Every video you make about school is doing well, it's getting you leads, etc., and you're kind of running out of ideas. What you can do is you can inverse the frame you have into a negative aspect in order to get views. So the hidden truth about school, and what it happens is it's driven from a negative point, it's driven from a fear point that makes somebody click. However, you can reframe it into covering the same information that's going to make someone convert, just using a different format. Then we have listicle/cheat code format. This is really good if you might not be the highest level authority on a particular topic, but you still want to talk about it. You can say the top 5 ways to X, the top 5 ways to Y, and if you want to talk about minor concepts, right? Not like very big overarching things like a content system, but maybe you want to talk about the 7 thumbnail secrets. That could be an example of a video that I might even make. Then you have curiosity driven hooks. So this is something that honestly you might want to avoid unless you have a really good reason and a really good keyword that you're still making. And the reason why is because they're very experience driven, which means that they're not going to rank on keywords, which means that you want to do them very sparingly because they're meant to be more personal style videos. Enemy calling out a group. Only do this with particular vehicles. Do not do this with people. It's not good for your brand and reputation. And then trend jacking/current event title. So what this is if you see something that is relevant to your industry happening and a lot of people are talking about it, you can make a video to position yourself as the authority in that given thing. For me, that was school. I made a good amount of videos around school. I could also make videos around WAP, but you need to make sure that the actual concept you're talking about is extremely relevant to what the overall theme of your channel is, or else what you're going to do is you're going to filter in a whole bunch of people that don't care. What you want to do with these trend jacking and current events, because they do work, is bring in the attention of where the people in your audience and what they're already watching. So those are all the kind of titles that you can use. Use those as you will. I like to input all these into the GPT as I actually ask for hundreds of title formats to pick my winning ones. The next thing that I do is the thumbnail. Now, can't design a crazy amount of thumbnails. I am definitely a worse graphic designer than the majority of the people watching this video right now. And the way that I come up with thumbnails is I first off go through the inspiration phase. So just like the titles, I take down the top competitors. I just write down their thumbnails. I take screenshots of it and I'll put them into the document that I'm using. I take 3 to 5 niche equivalent thumbnails down. So this is view stats, and it's the way that I actually review and kind of just look for thumbnail inspiration. So what I did here is I copy pasted one of the top thumbnails under that given keyword we were searching for. And what it's going to do is it's going to show me every single thumbnail that is visually similar to it. And you can see here that a lot of these videos got a lot more views than the given one we're trying to go after. This has a 5x multiplier on the current channel. This one might not be as good. It only has a 1.7x, but it has a really big creator. This one here is a 24.5x. So we can see what winning versions of that thumbnail are. And what I like to do is just literally go ahead and click through these. Just click through these until I can find more and more thumbnail inspiration, which leads me into the next phase, which is doing 2 to 3 unique ones just completely off the top of my head. Unicorn ideas, because sometimes you might have thumbnails that only you can do that are specific to this new idea, and you just don't want to always just straight up copy people. Now, what I do from that point on, as dumb as it may sound, you should try it. You should grab a piece of paper and just roughly draw each of them. I draw a simple box just like this here, and I draw a face inside of it, and I just draw kind of the stuff around it like I'm going to show you here in a second, and it ends up being like this. This is as simple as the drawings are, and I do that with every single thumbnail format that I want to try. So whether it's a laptop, whether it's a phone, whatever it might be, and I just focus on the rough elements that are actually included in that given thumbnail. And what that's going to do is it's going to move me into the next phase here, which is called internal filtering. So what I've done now is I have 10 thumbnails that I'm not really sure if they're just kind of drawings on pieces of paper, and I have 5 titles that I know are really good. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pair up one of the titles to one of the thumbnail ideas, and the same thumbnail can only win twice. So what that means is I'm going to have 4 to 5 winning thumbnails, each of which has a title that's actually alongside of it that I can now go and use AI, ChatGPT 4.0, to make complete AI designed thumbnails for me. And the 3 ways of doing that are a PNG drop, which I'll throw up on screen right now. You pretty much just put all the rough elements of it just with like a PNG. Second thing is you do a more in-depth sketch, and you just put a headshot of your face so the AI doesn't mess it up and kind of make you look like a random person. And then the third step is just straight up theft. So if you find a thumbnail that you really like and you know is going to do well, you can just straight up steal it from somebody and just have your face swapped onto it, or just remove their body from it in the first place and then put your body into the exact same thumbnail setting and change the numbers around. Now, take your design thumbnails and pick the winning 2 of those 5 that you've now paired, or 4 to 5 that you've paired alongside of it. And then what you're going to do with those 2 is you're going to take those 2 thumbnails and you're going to actually go ahead and improve the designs on them. Once again, I use Canva. I keep it extremely simple. When you're making these more business style videos, what's more important than the camera quality is you can just use an iPhone and do headshots of yourself with okay lighting. The most important thing is the overall message that you're communicating. Most importantly, with the asset that you have on screen, whether it's a breakdown or something, or whether you're doing fitness content and you're like super in shape, or and in addition to that, also just the numbers that you're showing and kind of the overall theme of the tangible data you're getting across to people. And that is as simple as I keep it for the thumbnails. I then move into the asset creation phase. So what I do for this is I prompt ChatGPT to come up with the most effective format for this video based on the pains that are associated with the question they're asking. So do not skip this phase, because oftentimes what you're going to find out is that the pains that it manages to find are very different from the frame that you were actually initially planning to tell the story in. I'll give you an example of this. I wanted to make a video on my story and how I managed to see success with my YouTube channel. And when I would tell the story, it would be a relatively positive thing, because this entire time I was excited and I kept a positive mindset. However, what I realized is that this might not be the most effective way to tell the story. Even though I tried to keep a positive mindset, if I just act like I was happy-go-lucky the entire time, nobody's really going to care, because they're going to imagine it was a walk in the park. Maybe I got lucky, maybe I got all these things. So I learned that I had to tell the story in a little bit more of a hero's journey format, where I started out as the victim. And then as a result of that, the video retention performed much, much better. So it's going to give you that form of kind of frame that you want to have around the video. And what it's also going to do is it's going to give you the asset that's most appropriate. Maybe a slideshow isn't right for this video. Maybe it should just be a straight up talking head one where you sit down outside on your porch, or maybe you just sit down in your chair late night. And it's going to give you kind of the setting that's going to be the best. Then from that point on, all you need to do is insert your unique skills and expertise accordingly. One thing I recommend, and I had it included in the questions about whether the video is a good fit for your channel, make it completely unique to you and what only you can talk about. And the only thing that you can talk about that's completely unique to you is your life experiences and stories. There's lots of people that are going to talk about the same concepts, all these things. You have to share how it applies to you. And the only other thing is make sure to include a strong call to action, a subtle one within the first 2 minutes of the video, and then near the end of the video, a hard one. Now, going up to the next phase, which is recording. You want to be yourself throughout this entire phase. And the only way to do this that I found, which I'm still improving myself while my delivery is amazing, is better than a speaking coach, book, or anything like that I bought, which is just reading out loud. You get to learn and consume stories, and that's going to improve your storytelling ability, but you also get to improve your articulation, because you're learning how to actually speak in certain ways, in certain voices that people have a lot more experience than you are actually speaking in. And because it's a book, it's going to be idealistic, meaning that the way a book reads is going to be way better than anybody actually speaks. So you're going to rapidly up your skills a lot quicker than anybody else. And then finally, it goes to the editing phase. So this is where a lot of people get freaked out. They either think they need like crazy edits with animations popping on the screen, or they just have straight up never used the software before, so it's a little bit intimidating. And I was the exact same way. What I'd recommend doing is you want to grab a timer like this, go ahead and set a 25-minute timer for yourself. Once you have set this timer, watch a video, download CapCut for free, and just learn how to cut the ends of clips off. And then once you've cut them off, attach the 2 clips of the asset and the hook together. And this will save you so much time, because you won't have to wait for a video editor to send it back to you. And you also won't have to pay out the ridiculous amount of money that it takes to edit a long form video. Because remember, you're posting 3 times a week, which means that volume is what you're actually going after, not this crazy little niche quality thing. So that's as simple as editing should be. It takes me roughly 10 minutes per video to edit and just throw the clips together. And then it goes to the launching phase. So when you are uploading a video, first things first is that you want to pick one title that you want to try first. And then you want to test both of the 2 thumbnails that you actually had. If that doesn't do well, you're then going to go ahead and try a completely new title and maybe even a new thumbnail if both of the ones that you tried had a low click-through rate. And I'll show you exactly how to do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up TubeBuddy, which is the software, and it's a Legend account. It might cost you like $30 a month or so. You're going to click to the A/B test section, and you can actually see a lot of the A/B tests that I have going on right now. So to show you an example, you can see 2 thumbnails that I had. One had a 3.8% click-through rate, and one actually has a 6.32% click-through rate. So of these 2 titles, I know that this is the one that's going to get the video an extremely higher amount of views. So I'm going to set this to the main thumbnail that I have. And the way that you do this is you're just going to go create an A/B test. If you're initially posting a video, you're going to want to go ahead and just do a thumbnail test. If you're going ahead and rehashing the title, you're going to want to go ahead and do the metadata and title test. Once you do that, you're just going to click through one of them. Then you're going to select 14 days. Just because you have a smaller channel, statistically significant, it's going to take months. Then you're not going to click the start test ASAP. You're going to do the schedule the date, and you're going to put it to yesterday, which is going to immediately start it. Drop the other thumbnail in, and you're going to click start test. And now you're going to have the click-through rate going ahead, and it will update as soon as the video goes live. So you're good to go, and you can just immediately change it as the video uploads. And that is the content strategy that my micro channel used to scale. If you need any help implementing this at any point, you always have the ability to go ahead down below and schedule a call to speak with me directly. And otherwise, I hope that the value you got from this video is worth the time that you spent, and I will see you in the next one.